Chapter 21. Achilles, let me tell you, had issues. I give him an A+ on the battlefield, but an F in taking advice, handling insults, and being a team player. He gets a big needs work on anger management, too. My recommendation is that Achilles' parents, Thetis and Peleus, come in immediately for a teacher's conference, although this could be tense because Thetis is a sea nymph and can morph into different shapes. I suspect his mother is a big part of the problem. A lot of people in Hillcrest get a needs work in anger management. Walt says nobody thinks clearly when they're mad. You should lock yourself in a room and not make any decisions until you're calmer. Everywhere, the news is bad, and hardly anyone is taking it calmly. Steroid use rampant among Hillcrest Hornets, investigation shows. 6 players out of 15 test positive for steroid use is one of the headlines. I show it to Walt. His face gets stiff. I hold my baseball so tight my arm hurts. The players are under a doctor's care, says the sheriff. We can only hope and pray that there will not be permanent damage to these young athletes, says Pastor Burmeister of Peaceful Lutheran Church. The Hornets who tested positive for steroids have a lawyer. She says, my clients, these fine young athletes, didn't know what the coach was giving them. He assured them they were taking vitamins. Coach Perkins has 2 lawyers. One of them says, we are confident that the truth will come out and that Delmar Perkins's innocence will be upheld. The other lawyer says, Coach Perkins loves his players more than he loves himself. The lawyer for the high school says, this is a tragedy at many levels, and Hillcrest High School is addressing it with speed, accountability, and compassion. The media loves this story. In the little town of Hillcrest, nestled in Ohio's western hills, there was a dark secret, so dark that a boy with exceptional promise is now dead, and one of the country's most respected high school baseball programs has been suspended, the coach arrested, the town left grappling with a big question. Who are we now? Suspended, canceled, embarrassed. The town welcome sign about pushing to be the best is taken down. The baseball bat statue on the hill feels like it shouldn't be there. Shame on you. That's what one article said. The shame was on us, and it stuck, like stepping in dog dew. Even if you scrape it off, there's still the smell. Words have such power. We're trying to hustle during baseball practice to find the energy, but it's hard to do that when so much around you says you're a fake. But there's one person who isn't upset by any of this. He can't understand steroids and cheating and losing your reputation. But Benny Lewis thinks our team and our town are great. He can't wait to see us play. He shouts, yay, and good catch, even when it isn't a good one. For 3 days, Benny doesn't come to practice because he has to have tests at his doctor's office. And for 3 days, it isn't the same. Even Benchant misses him. The little guy's okay, right? He's coming tomorrow, Franny tells us. But Benny gets strep throat. He has to stay home. And it feels to me like the town is getting weaker. I think Hillcrest needs a heart transplant. But before you can put the new heart in, you have to take the old heart out. I'm thinking about this while Walt wraps a sheet halfway around me and fastens it at the shoulder. I'm playing Aristotle in Think About It Day at my school. One day a month, a kid dresses up like a famous dead person and walks around school saying things that are supposed to make everyone think differently. Aristotle is a major ancient Greek who thought hard about everything. I adjust the fake beard Mr. Aronson gave me to wear. Walt and I look in the mirror together. 2 guys with beards. I still don't look like you, Walt. The sheet doesn't help either, Jer. Mr. Aronson and I reworked some of Aristotle's sayings so kids could get the general idea and not be bored into oblivion. Jerwal rolls into the room and steps. I raise my right arm, let my voice go deep. Excellence is formed in a person who works at being excellent. Jerwal beeps. I like that. Walt scoops up Sarb, who was stuck in the corner. I scratch under my beard and head toward the door. It's not easy walking in a sheet. Kids at school don't connect to the sheet right off, and lots of them laugh when I stop in the hall, raise my arm, and say major things. Dignity does not come by having honors, but by deserving them. All people are alike when they sleep. In the cafeteria, I shout, happiness rocks. That's a very loose translation, but kids totally get the concept. Benchant pulls my beard. Logo calls out, way to go, Big A. I nod wisely and try not to trip on my sheet. Mr. Aronson is beyond happy. We're shooting energy through the school. Good job, Jeremiah. I feel the energy building. Donald Mole shows up to practice with 2 more players, Jandro Correa and Roy Nader. Jandro should play second base, Donald tells me. But you're on second. He's better. Hanjo runs on the field and starts throwing and catching. He's so much better. Roy picks up a bat and Sky pitches to him. He's got a power swing. Okay, Donald, you and Roy are utility players. That means you'll play different positions as we need you. I slap his shoulder. It's awesome what you did. I want us to win, he says. We've now got 12 guys. A reporter from out of town comes to watch us practice. He has a little mustache and a lot of snark. So what do you kids think of baseball now? Everyone looks to me. I say, was it baseball that did this, sir, or people? He has a fake smile. So will you be playing baseball in school even after all that's happened? Terrell steps up. As you can see, mister, we are playing baseball after all that's happened, and we're going to keep playing it. Why? The reporter demands. Terrell points a finger at him. Because my grandpa always told me giving up is stupid. The reporter sits there. You should write down what he said, I tell the man. What's the name of your team, he asks. The Muskrats, Terrell says it's strong. The reporter turns to me. And you are? He's our coach, Donald says. Really? Do you Muskrats have a captain? He hadn't thought about that, but most of the players looked to Terrell, then back at me. It's Terrell if he'll do it, I say. A big cheer goes up. Terrell's smiling. If we ever get new uniforms, maybe we should have giving up is stupid written on the backs of our jersey. There's another message going around town. Honk if you love baseball. I didn't have anything to honk when I first saw it, so I shouted, yes! I expected to hear a lot of honking, but there wasn't much. I wonder what happened to all the people who loved it. I wonder about the other people, the ones who say, what's the big deal about steroids? You think this is only happening in Hillcrest? So many people want that edge to win. Win. But in the middle of all this, another voice rises. It's a real one too. She stands on the high school steps with her husband and her son, Mac Rooney, who was a big Hornet star. Mac Rooney's mother gives motherhood a gold star. I don't know how the other parents are feeling, she begins, but I'm feeling that we're the lucky ones. We still have our sons. Michael and Delia Cantwell lost their boy Hargy. I, for one, want to know the truth about what happened. I want to understand what trust was broken. I want to understand what my son was exposed to, what he knew and didn't know. I want us all to stop running from this ugly thing and look at it and look at what's at stake here. If we ever needed truth in this town, we need it now. Mac Rooney is standing next to his mother when she says it and applauding louder than anyone. Then Mr. Aronson gives us the best homework assignment. What's an example of a tragic flaw in our world today? Write a paragraph about that. I haven't finished my paragraph about Coach Perkins, but here's what I've got so far. His love for winning was his downfall. It became more important than being honest and being responsible to his players and to the sport. I really like this sentence. Finally, when it comes down to it, a coach is responsible for the health and safety of his players. I actually call Aunt Charity and read it to her. Well done, she says. You're getting quite an education in that place. And she doesn't ask if I've had a bowel movement. Of course, I get off the phone before she can. I ask Franny who she wrote about. At first, she doesn't want to tell me. Remember, in Canada, I let it be. But later in the day, she comes up to me. Promise you won't tell, she says. I promise, I tell her. She stands there quietly. I wrote about my dad.